looking at a live view of the Falcon Heavy on historic launch pad 39A at Kennedy Space Center, awaiting liftoff at 6:35 p.m. local time. Welcome to our live webcast of the Falcon Heavy Arabsat-6A mission from SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. My name is Jesse Anderson, and I'm a manufacturing engineer here at SpaceX. I'm so excited to be here with you today, along with my co-hosts, bringing you coverage of the second launch of Falcon Heavy. It's the first Falcon Heavy launch carrying a payload for a customer, and tonight our customer is Arabsat.
And I'm Alex Siegel. I'm a material planner here at SpaceX. We first flew our Falcon Heavy vehicle a little more than a year ago. It is the world's most powerful operational rocket by a factor of 2. With 28 engines, 3 boosters, 3 separation events, and 3 landing attempts, there's going to be a lot of activity happening all at once. The payload tonight is a geostationary communications satellite, which will provide state-of-the-art communication services to customers in the Middle East and Africa.
Tonight's launch window is about 2 hours long, and we're planning to launch at the top of that window. If we're unable to launch tonight, our backup window opens up on Saturday, April 13th. We're currently at T-minus 14 minutes and counting, and all systems are go in Cape Canaveral.
Speaking of the satellite, it is safely enclosed inside the 17-foot diameter payload fairing, which is the pointed cone on the very top of the rocket. This protects the payload from aerothermal loads, heating, and contamination during ascent. Now, once we reach the vacuum of space, we will jettison the fairing as the second stage continues on its journey to orbit. While Mr. Steven, our ship, will not be supporting today's mission, we do plan to recover the fairing pieces from the ocean using our recovery ships Go Searcher and Go Pursuit.
As we mentioned earlier, the payload being launched tonight is for our customer Arabsat, one of the world's top satellite providers in the Arab world, reaching tens of millions of homes in more than 80 countries. Arabsat-6A, which was built by Lockheed Martin, is a high-capacity telecommunications satellite that will deliver television, radio, internet, and mobile communications to customers in the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. Here's a quick message from our customer.
One world, one heart. A world so different, yet so alike. Our world. The one and only world, where we feel more at home. A world that's growing wider than ever, with more choices and more possibilities. The world of Arabsat, the largest Arab community in the sky, now closer than ever, with the new generation of Arabsat satellites. Welcome to our neighborhood. Arabsat, our world, your world.
Ground gas closeout complete.
Go for launch.
Minutes 30 seconds. Minutes 15 seconds.
Vehicle's flight pressures.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Vehicle's pitching downrange.
And we're beginning deep throttle. Center core at deep throttle.
T plus 33 seconds into flight. Under the power of 5.1 million pounds of thrust, Falcon Heavy is headed to space. We're throttling down at T plus 40 seconds to prepare for maximum dynamic pressure.
Power and telemetry are nominal.
We're hearing reports. Power and telemetry are nominal.
Vehicle is supersonic.
You may have heard the call out on Net 1. Vehicle is supersonic. Side boosters are throttling back up on power as we're
Max
through the
Q.
period of maximum dynamic pressure. Trajectory looking good. You can hear the applause behind me as we've gotten past maximum dynamic pressure. Next event coming up is chill-in of the MVAC-D engine. Get the turbo pump ready to ignite the main engine on the second stage in another couple of minutes. Merlin engine performance looks good. We've begun dropping power on the side boosters to decrease loads on the center core.
Second load limiting shutdown.
Continuing to decrease loads to minimize acceleration on the Falcon Heavy structure. Coming up on booster engine cutoff, called BECO, and separation of the two side boosters.
MVAC engine chill.
BECO.
Booster separation confirmed.
Successful separation, if you can hear me over the cheering. Side boosters now beginning a flip to begin returning back to Cape Canaveral.
Boost back burn.
Side boosters have begun the boost back burn. The center core has throttled back up to power. Everything looking good on the flight of Falcon Heavy. The next major event, main engine cutoff of the center core and separation ignition of the second stage. Bottom middle view shows the view looking up into the nozzle of the second stage engine.
MECO.
Main engine cutoff, center core shut
Stage
down.
separation confirmed. MVAC ignition.
Again, over the cheering, MVAC-D engine up on power. It looks good. Side boosters looking good, still burning on their way back to Cape Canaveral. Grid fins are out on the center core.
Fairing separation confirmed.
Here comes the fairing separation, and there it goes. We also have successful shutdown of the side booster boost back burn. So T plus 4 minutes, 25 seconds into flight. Side boosters on their way back to Cape Canaveral. Center core coasting out over the
trajectory
Atlantic.
nominal.
Stage 2 looking good with a nominal trajectory.
And as you guys have noticed, the grid fins have deployed on the side boosters as well as the center core. Those work to help guide the boosters back to a nice targeted soft landing. Let's see those heading home right now. As a reminder, today we'll be attempting to recover all three of the first stage cores, and all three boosters are currently on their way heading home. In just a few minutes, the side boosters will execute an entry burn, followed by a landing burn, and the center core will do much the same a few minutes later. Both burns are meant to slow the stage's speed down rapidly before landing.
At the time of separation, the side boosters were traveling slow enough to turn around and make their way
Stage
back to
2
land at our
mid-flight guidance.
side-by-side landing pads. The center core, on the other hand, is going too fast to efficiently return to the Cape, so we're using our autonomous drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You. If we have a successful landing today, the side boosters will be reflown on our next Falcon Heavy mission, STP-2. Now, coming up at about T plus 6 minutes will be the side boosters re-entry burn.
Acquisition of signal Bermuda.
So you'll see the side boosters on your left and right screen.
Side booster entry burn has started.
And there's the re-entry burn beginning.
Stage 2 trajectory nominal.
And the re-entry burn is complete for the side boosters. Now coming up in about 30 seconds, the center core, which you see on your center screen, will begin its re-entry burn.
Stage 1 entry burn has started. Side boosters are transonic.
And there you can see the re-entry burn for center core has begun. Coming up in about 5 seconds here, the side boosters landing burn will begin as well.
Side booster landing burn has started.
Sight to see.
Now we're waiting for the engine to shut down on the second stage and for the center core to land. Now, if all goes well, we'll have successfully recovered all 3 boosters, which we have never done before. Now, coming up in about 20 seconds, we're going to listen for confirmation of SECO 1, or second engine cutoff 1.
Ship AOS. Back shutdown.
And we have confirmation.
Center core
now we're
is
just waiting to hear
transonic.
good orbit.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And we have that confirmed, good orbit.
Now coming up here in about 15 seconds will be the center core landing burn beginning. So again, as we mentioned earlier, this is going to be a challenging landing.
Stage 1 landing
and we are
starting.
landing on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You. And
Center core landing legs are deployed.
looks like we lost the live view. Waiting for some confirmation, and it sounds like we landed the center core on our drone ship book. We have landed the center core for the first time on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You. For the first time we've landed all 3 boosters for Falcon Heavy. What an amazing day. So now we are going to take a quick break. You can hear our crowd going wild. 3 for 3 boosters today on Falcon Heavy. What an amazing accomplishment.
Now coming up in about 20 seconds, we're going to get ignition, about a brief reignition of the upper stage engine to carry the payload into the desired transfer orbit.
And back ignition.
Confirmation of ignition. We are up at the desired power. Tank pressure looks good. The turbine temps look good. You may have seen just before ignition the large white fluffy pieces moving away. That is solid oxygen. The stuff you breathe, it's so cold that it's solid, but it is not very dense. It's very fluffy, and it is actually attached to one of the liquid oxygen overboard drain lines that we use. So coming off is normal. Now this burn is about an 85-second burn. In that time, we'll add 2,800 meters per second to our velocity. That's more than the side boosters provided early in flight, almost as much as what the center core gave us. We've throttled down the engine to keep accelerations below the limit for our Arabsat customer. Everything continues to look good. The views of the nozzle of the upper stage engine coming from 2 SpaceX cameras on either side of the second stage. Continuing to throttle down, and we have shutdown.
I'm back shutdown.
Right now we're waiting to hear what the final orbit looks like.
Nominal orbit insertion.
Guidance engineer over one of the nets announced nominal orbit insertion. Right where we want to be, we're on a path that'll take us almost 90,000 kilometers up above the Earth. Well, now we're in the good orbit we wanted. We're going to coast for the next 5 minutes or so. We'll be back with continuing coverage at T+33 minutes for the final step in today's mission, deployment of the Arabsat-6A satellite. Welcome back. T+33 minutes, 29 seconds since liftoff. We're about half a minute away from the deployment of the Arabsat-6A satellite. Now, currently the second stage has begun a slow spin up. That'll help stabilize the satellite. It'll retain that spin when it separates from the second stage. Now, currently, the camera view has switched forward looking at the Arabsat-6A spacecraft. And if you've just joined us now, you've missed a great day. Both side boosters landed at the Cape. Center core landed, second stage right in the desired orbit. And now we're waiting for separation.
Spacecraft separation confirmed.
As you can tell behind me, the folks who watched the mission cheering. Arabsat-6A headed away into the desired orbit, doing its mission in space. That puts a capper on what's been a completely normal day here at SpaceX.
And with that, that brings our webcast to a close. Thanks to our customer Arabsat for entrusting us with tonight's mission. Thank you to the 45th Space Wing and Range Safety and the FAA for licensing today's launch.
We'd also like to thank all of you, our viewers, for tuning into such an exciting launch today. Follow our website and social media platforms for updates on our next milestones and missions. And until next time,